welcome back to another Johnny Depp and Amber Heard video. This is obviously the day after, I'm recording this the day after the verdict came out, and I want to have a dive into this verdict for lots and lots of different reasons. I want to have a dive into this verdict in terms of truth. And now obviously we're all happy for Johnny Depp. We're all glad that it kind of turned out justice, although I understood why they came to the conclusion about Amber Heard that they did, but I'm not going to get into that because I won't, unless you want me to, in which case leave a comment below. I want to have a look in the last video they wouldn't tell me who was going to win, and I kind of understand that because they both kind of won, but they said that the verdict would be kind of delayed because of an event. Now, I was hoping for a big event, and of course it was a bit of an anticlimax, but sitting back and thinking about it, a lot of people have been discussing a lot of things about this trial, not just about survivors of DV and SA, and also specifically male survivors of DV and SA, but also around the media coverage around this, which is quite important, isn't it? And also around the previous legal trials as well, the Australia trial and the UK trial. There's also been questions asked. I've got a whole list here. I want to kind of have a deep dive. So and also I've had a few questions about what exactly is this truth a thing about, and what are the white hats and the black hats. I know myself, I was in a little light work bubble, and although a lot of the truth is stuff we do already know, a lot of the terms and a lot of the specifics are quite vague when we're going into what's been going on around us. So I do just want to have a quick look at who are the white hats and who are the dark hats. We've got so much to cover. I don't know what rabbit hole we're going to end up down. I don't know how long this video is going to be. So let's just get on with it. Hi, I'm back once again, like I say, with much as to tell the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. And of course, I was very, very happy that Johnny Depp won, like a huge win for him. I'm sure everybody agrees. I know a lot of people are celebrating. As a truther, I'm a little bit disappointed. It seemed like an anticlimax. I guess I was hoping for the big expose, the big event. But I do want to have a look into the verdict. I've already mentioned a few of the things that I want to be looking into. There does seem to be a whole heap of things being discussed. I want to know whether something did happen before the verdict, whether it was something that was much more undercover or secret, or whether it was something that we're much more subtle that we're seeing around us, because I do really believe this is a lot of why people have been drawn to this trial and the important issues it's raised. And I do want to have a quick look for anybody who doesn't know who the dark hats are and who the white hats are. I'm going to be getting to that in a sec. Just have a general read about this verdict and see what we can get coming up around this verdict in terms of the truther movement and exposing the truth and moving people towards awakening both spiritually and physically. So let's have a little look. Okay, well, that's quite an answer there. I get that there was perhaps more activity around this than we ever saw. We've got our White Hat Army here, and yeah, okay, fine, a lot of this has been kind of undercover, but we are we are moving forwards. We've also got in here, okay, so a lot of it wasn't stated. A lot of it wasn't actually put out there. And I do get, for a lot of us, we are kind of, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to come out? I can't remember whether it was the last video or the video before. I think it was 2 videos ago, and I did explore what did I mean by awakening. Was it spiritual awakening, or was it awakening to what's been going on? And I'll be looking at that in terms of white hats and dark hats shortly. But a lot of it is coming into the love energy, and they are saying that that has been awakened. I think in the Johnny Depp statement afterwards, I think it was tweeted, I'm not sure, he did associate all the love that had been sent to him towards him from this. Please let go of your judgments. Things are changing once again. I think this is just confirming we're going for the slow reveal. I do get here though, because the dark hats are coming up here, I get that they're giving them one more chance to let go, or they will be giving them one more chance to let go of this. It is one more chance. One. Now, whether Amber Heard's in that or not, I don't know. Let's ask a more specific question, because I do want to ask about the in the next video. I do want to do one more. I do want to be looking around poor Elaine, because I did feel sorry for her when she's been caught crying in the bathroom or something. And I did get they were independent lawyers. I didn't get that they were black hats at all. I do want to look around Elaine, and I do want to look about these perjury cases that apparently are coming up around Amber Heard. But right now, I do want to have, on that theme, I do want to have a look at, are people waking up too? Because there is a lot of discussion out there about the mainstream media's coverage of this, the previous legal cases, like I said, and there was something else I wanted to look at as well. There was also around, because I do know I've spoken to a lot of light workers, I've said before about being a survivor of DV and SA, and that's men and women, and I do know light workers are particularly prone to narcissists. I do want to be covering that on my membership site, on my website. So I do get that it's difficult for men to come out because of the gender roles that we are encouraged into, which I believe personally is a dark hat thing. I don't believe that that's natural at all. I'm not saying there's not divine feminine and divine masculine, but that we have both. So if we're forced into one kind of role that's hurting us as a whole, then that's not good for us, is it? As we've demonstrated. But let's start off with the legal system, shall we? For those who don't know, a lot of people are aware that there's been a lot of people who say that there are 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 families that kind of rule the world, and not in a good way either. They direct everything, they own and direct everything from the legal system to education to healthcare to the financial system, banking system, religious systems, that they control everything, they direct everything. It's like JFK said in one of his speeches, and I'm not quoting directly, this is just what I remember, there is a dark force that's in control of the world, and he was going to expose that. And this has been going on for a long time. I'll get into the history and the real history another time. I've done a few real history videos if you're interested. The dark cats are those families and their minions, and their minions are families as well. They control Hollywood and the music industry as well. There's a lot of things about symbols and the signs they give, and I won't get into that now. But as far as I know, the white hats and the black hats come from the old cowboy films, where you could identify the good guy because they were wearing a white hat, and you could identify the bad guy because they're wearing a black hat or a dark hat. And that's really where it comes from. There's a lot more to it than that. But I don't want to get into that now. But a lot of truthers are concerned that there's, although the white hats, because we're entering 2012, because we've entered 2012, this period of awakening between 2012 and 2032 is what they say, where we're entering galactic alignment. It was always that we were going to awaken spiritually, and that of course would have been disaster for the black cats, because they wouldn't have been able to control and manipulate us anymore if we're spiritually awakened. And they knew that this was coming, and so they had some kind of plan to suppress humanity, and that's a long story all on its own. I'm not going to get into that now. But a lot of people who worked with the dark cats found this out and decided, we're not going to be part of this plan to destroy humanity. We're going to actively stop this. And from what I understand, the white hats are higher military personnel. They're also the FBI and the CIA, and there were some good guys there anyway, because obviously they're dark cult organisations as well. They decided that, and a few other people as well, they got in as well, who knew of this story or who just wanted to help, came in to physically stop the dark cats doing what they were doing, and I'll get into that in another video, and what they planned to do. So the reason I'm putting this in now is because a lot of the organisations that we're looking at here are specific burn points for the dark cats. That's organisations that they used to control, that the white hats have taken over or are taking over. The legal system, for example, the mainstream media as well. I know one of the mainstream media are one of the last to be infiltrated. Now, I know I came to the truth community quite late. Being a light worker, I kept in my little light work bubble, doing all my spiritual stuff and energy stuff. So it's only like a couple of years ago, really, but I already knew most of the stuff anyway, like most light workers undoubtedly will. So let's have a little bit of a look around the legal system, and is this going to be exposing the corruption, or are people looking into this more closely in terms of the corruption within the legal system and waking up? I believe yes. And there's one card specifically that tells me a yes here, and that's this: disappointment. When people are awoken to the truth, there is going to be disappointment. I don't think people... Okay, so people are celebrating Johnny's win now. But there is disappointment about what's possibly gone on, especially around the UK verdict, where apparently the judge was swapped out for someone who shouldn't have been put in that position, which I do want to look at in the next video in more depth. But I get that a lot of people are not really going to know what to do about it, which is a good thing, because if people are asking what are we going to do about it, I do get that there are things that have come up before that were meant to wake people up around this, but that just didn't. Oh, that would have been there. My guides have just whispered in my ear. I can't say her name. Is it Ghislaine Maxwell? But it just didn't work. I think maybe nobody really cared about her. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't care about what she'd done, but nobody really cared about her. Maybe. Unlike Johnny Depp. And we are moving into a new world. I do think people that I do get from this, and I do think people are actually waking up from this, particularly around the legal system. Now, if you're interested in the Amber and the perjury thing, is she going to be charged with perjury? I'm going to be looking at that in the next video. I am interested in that. I would like to know that. Going after Johnny, coming to the UK to play some gigs. There were so many more. Oh, of course, the Washington Post, that published the op-ed, came down apparently on Amber's side. Not that I would know. I don't read Vogue. Now, Emily D. Baker. Now, my daughter adores Emily D. Baker. She's a lawyer on YouTube. She was invited on Sky News UK apparently, and they were trying to get her to say it's a setback for DV and SA survivors, and she was like, no. And I agree, it's Amber lying and getting away with it is a setback for every woman survivor, and this is certainly a huge movement forward, fingers crossed, in terms of male survivors. And I do believe that's what she said, but apparently Sky News UK don't agree with that. That's all I've got written down. Oh, and of course TMZ trying to stop their guy testifying. So let's have a look around mainstream media. Is this waking people up? Are people discussing this? Are people turning away from mainstream media? Let's have a little bit of a look, shall we? Ooh, they've got something to say. Let's have a look what they've thrown out. I think they know they're in a corner. I do think they know they're in a corner and they are facing justice here. There's a lot of worry, justice, judgment, unhappiness in here. I think those left on the dark side definitely know what's going to be coming. Let me see if I can make sure you can see those. Yeah, let's have a full read on how people are viewing. Let's get the question specific. How are people viewing mainstream media? Although I get that if they know they're going down, I get they know that people are just recognising it, turning away from them. I did see something very interesting. I believe it was on Twitter today. There was some kind of organisation set up for ethical journalists. Now, isn't that a great step forward? And this all seems to have come out or gained momentum since this trial. So let's have a little bit of a look at how people are viewing mainstream media, and this is going to, if this is going to shift us forward in this awakening. From what I'm seeing here, this is absolutely people waking up. They might not like it now. They might be arguing. They might be infighting. Who's good, who's bad. But I do get swift movement forward from this. This is, I do believe this is absolutely waking people up. People are waking up to this. I do get that. I get the mainstream media know it's over now. They know it's over. They know there's no going back now. And I do believe people are going to start walking away. And if nobody's supporting these mainstream media outlets, how are they going to survive? They survive through people's support. A lot of independent journalists have been coming to the fore, because people have been trusting them more because they are independent and they are giving people the information that they want, the truth. So I do get, we are, as much as we look in the past and it was all set up and it was all easy back then, we can't really go back to that. And I do think whether this has been coming a long time and this has just been the catalyst to push a few people over the edge, we can do it, we can move forward. I do just want to ask one more question, and that's about the ego narcissist thing. Obviously, people don't abuse, they've got some kind of issue, which we saw quite clearly on the stand, I think, and in the recordings. They've asked me to do 2 readings. I'll do 2 quick readings. Is this opening people's eyes into the ego narcissist and the DVSA situation? Particularly, in my experience, prevalent in light workers. We're very, very prone to abusers. Yes, swift movement forward. Justice coming up here as well. There's been a lot, I know there's been a lot of discussions about it. Once again, things are rounding up. Why is emotion and expressing emotion and feelings and experiences, why is it looked down on? It's looked down because it's a female attribute. Female attributes are not welcomed, valued in society, and I do believe that that's true. Right, so let's have a brief look then, expanding this on, is this going to bring up discussions and solutions around males and DV and SA? My guides have just said to me, this has been bubbling to the surface for a long time. There's going to be a lot of questions asked around why this has happened, how this has happened, and there is going to be victory, because I do believe people are going to be pushing for this, which is great news, isn't it? Nobody should suffer this in silence. Nobody should suffer this alone. I know in the light work community it's much more openly discussed and shared and supported, but I know in the wider world it isn't. And men getting in touch with their divine feminine and allowing themselves to be vulnerable, to be emotional, to feel that and express that, and express as well pain and suffering as well, without shame. Well, I am so glad I did that reading. I was feeling very deflated after the verdict, not because it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but because I was expecting a little bit more. But this has been great news. I really do think we're pushing ahead with this. I'm sorry, this probably is going to be quite a long video. There is going to be another video after it. I'm going to be looking, like I said, at a few things. I wanted to look at Elaine, and I wanted to be looking at the perjury cases as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your comments, or if you've got any questions, or if there's any topics you would like me to look at, please leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate you coming here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.